Greetings and happy day to you. Good afternoon, good morning to some all across the globe. Happy to be with you. I have about 4 zones I want to take you through this evening. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you and welcome for those that are now a part of the House of Reconciliation group. And to those that have asked and sought out, what type of ministry are we? We are a place and a house for everyone. And I thank all of those who've liked, sharing posts and those who have joined and followed. So I appreciate it. I don't take those things for granted. I want to get right to it. We are going to do one exercise right now, and it's called Let's Breathe. So everybody turns around and go, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why that you control many things that you don't think you have control of. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is that your mind is a filter. It can filter in and it can filter out. It takes the right spirit to be able to balance and have the spirit of discernment to show us and to tell us what we should keep, what we should inquire about, and what we should filter out. I'll give you these 4 things real quick before we really get rolling. I said these on Sunday. I've said them before. Number 1, is it God? Number 2, is it the adversary? Number 3, is it life? Or number 4, is it me? We always like to start out with a couple of things. 1, we are supposed to be spirit driven, earthly educated. And I'm going to show you how that comes into play this evening. Purposefully balanced, and God got it. Now, I want to talk to you about 4 zones, but I'm going to give you the base because I know a lot of people like for it to be based off of biblical principles, and it is. And it begins in Romans, the 12th chapter, verse 1 and 2. It goes back to, for those that are a little bit more biblically inclined, it goes back to James 1:21. First of all, I got to extract before I can engraft. And so the 2 key words is, what are you getting ready to extract? What are you getting ready to pull out to make room for something to grow? So there's 4 zones we're going to talk about. And then we're going to go over to the things that I thought was very interesting, and you can certainly chime in. We're going to talk about, I've been trying to get to application and action. And the late Dr. Miles Monroe shared a very good thought that I had to take in consideration. Everyone needs a period of deliverance. Now, with that period of deliverance, I know God's part, but what is my part? There's a human side to this. And a lot of times we go and we hear all of these great things, but we never know how to implement them. And this evening, I'm going to, I don't know how, I really want to rush, but then I don't need to rush. So I'm going to take them slow. So I want to get to them. And the first one is comfort zone. Comfort zone. And in that comfort zone, it has 4 phases. The first phase is you control it. The second one is the mind tells you that you're safe. The third one is it tells you to relax so then you don't prepare. And in the comfort zone, it makes you feel safe so you think the risks are low. Here's the kicker, but you never grow. So if you want to stay in the comfort zone, that's your right. But the reality is you control it. And this sometimes is why we're so miserable and unhappy. And remember, I said this. Is it God? Is it the adversary? Is it life? Or is it me? Those are the first 4 things in comfort zone. Comfort has a cousin called fear. In fear zone, and some people are not in comfort zone, they're in fear zone because they worry about everything. First of all, one of the number 1 reasons is they have low confidence. Second, they are problem focused. Everything to them that they can't control is a problem. And when it's a problem, I have no creativity. I have no leverage because fear has already told me with cousin comfort that I'm good. Here is the danger. We always listen to other people, which comes down to influence of others. So I don't even know how to make my own decision, let alone know if it's right. But because someone else said it means I don't have to take responsibility for it. So I'm going to do what they say because pleasing them make me feel safe. And yet I'm still scared in the fear zone. Here is one that is a kicker. Excuses. Every time the opportunity comes to branch out, to stretch out, to learn something new, fear tells you not to trust it. So here it is again. We are halfway there. Fear zone. Excuses. Influenced by others. You never sit down and qualify to see if what you're hearing is the best thing for you. It may have worked for the 99th person, but you may be standing in line and you need a revision and you have no way because you're stuck in a fear zone. Problem focus. Everything is a problem. Anything that you can't control, it's a problem. And you struggle with it. That's the fear zone. And the reason why is you have low confidence. You think it's better to be safe than to be sorry. I'm going to forecast you this one. The reward is in the risk. If you're not willing to take risks, then you will always be stuck in the comfort zone and the fear zone. This is why I said you have the opportunity to control your breathing. So I'll say it again. Let's breathe. Let's learn the difference between reaction and response. And I said this earlier. Many times we're reacting and we don't know exactly the source of the issue. Is it God developing us? Is it the adversary trying to trip us? Is it lifing, things just happen? Or is it me who's creating more stumbling blocks? We have to know before we jump out there, because if not, when we make a mistake, we tend to hover in the comfort zone and the fear zone. Now, where we need to grow to is simple, the learning zone. And this means that I must come out of my shell and I must begin to trust God, trust myself, and qualify the information that I'm willing to receive. If not, people will make your mind a dumpster. And then they'll make it a dumpster fire. And then you will be gaslighting yourself because of what he said, she said, they said. But here's the thing. You don't see that they have moved on. And you still somewhere looking in the fire for the extinguisher. Had not you allowed it to build a nest in your mind and create negativity, because 70% of the cortisol is in the human mind, and you don't want to trust the caterpillar to know that you can become what you don't even imagine you can become, but you don't trust anybody's process. The learning zone. Looking for opportunities. They're not coming to you. Looking, which means you have to engage outside of yourself, outside of me, myself, and I, and outside of your comfort zone and outside of your fear zone. You must look for opportunities. There's a text that says if a man must have friends, he must first show himself friendly. Are you friendly? Or are you suspect of everybody? Number two, you have to extend your comfort zone, which means if you're the person at the table and you know more than anybody, then you're the little fish or the big fish in the little pond. If you really want to get into a high-end learning zone, you must have to grapple, take notes, write, look, think, talk, ask questions, and show vulnerability that I'm here to learn. I'm not here to act like I know when everybody in the room know I don't know. Extend your comfort zone to asking questions. And I always use this, especially in college and in life. I say this to people. Teach me as if though I'm a beginner. Give it to me how you would tell a child. Because sometimes my mind needs a little help. But if I act like I know and you using words that I don't know, then the worst thing I can do is try to extend the word that's not within my vocabulary. Neither do I know the context and narrative and the intent of the word, and then embarrass myself in front of you. The learning zone has levels of vulnerability to it, but it also has tools that will become foundational principles for the next move in your life. Here is what the learning zone also will do. It helps you learn from yourself, from the wisdom of God, and from others and life experiences to know how to solve problems. People who panic, people who have a lot of anxiety, are not necessarily good problem solvers. You need to be around people, I call it resources, that you can pick up the phone, you can email someone, you can text someone and say, hey, I got a situation. Give me some options. Solving problems. You do not have to do everything on your own, but it begins with the mind. Here is another one. That's a talent for some people. People don't like failure, but in the learning zone, you have to learn new skills. You have to embrace what you don't know so you can know. My grandmother used to say this. It's bad when a person don't know that they don't know and don't know that they really don't know, but they think that you don't know and you know that they really, really don't know. You can figure that one out later. The next one is, I said it takes risks. Taking on challenges. You have to set your mind in a position every day, prepared or not prepared. But if you're prepared mentally, then you can adjust. Taking on challenges. I'll give them to you again. When you're in the learning zone, looking for opportunities, extending your comfort zone, solving problems, learning skills, and taking on challenges. In other words, pull the cover off of your head, get up, look in the mirror, and say, God and life, and now we even have Google, help me solve this problem. The one we want to get to, we're there. The growth zone. Now remember, we talked about the comfort zone, the fear zone, the learning zone, and now we're going to talk about the growth zone. First of all, in the growth zone, there must be something to achieve. What are your goals for tomorrow? I think it's next week. It's the 31st of July. What are your goals? Where are you on your life graph chart? Where are you in your vision board to accomplish what you were supposed to accomplish in the month of July? The month of July, or the number 7, is known as perfecting. What skills did you remove and upgrade, and what new skills have you learned? Here is the growth zone. Setting goals. The number 8 means new beginning. What's going to be new if you're not setting goals? Number 2, once you come from the comfort zone, the fear zone, the learning zone, you have a higher level of self-esteem. Now you're not afraid of the challenge. Now you're not backing down from people. You are open-minded. So now you have resources, you have connections, and now you have a chance to use them. High self-esteem. When you have high self-esteem, not just in yourself, but just in resources and in life, that's why I say, let's breathe. And I got a couple things I'm going to hit you with, and I'm going to let you go. When you have high self-esteem, it's easier then to find purpose, because purpose do not accept excuses. Purpose do not accept procrastination. Purpose do not accept being lazy. Purpose means works without faith are dead, and faith without works are dead. In other words, where I'm trying to take us, application to action. Here is the other thing. When you're setting goals, you have high self-esteem, you're finding purpose, guess what? Now you have a vision. You have a vision for you. So that automatically starts to help you tune out the noise. And when you are actively engaged, you will find out that the no's and the rejections that people say has less effect on you because you have more than one rod in the river, in the lake, in the pond. You have more than one out there. When you're down to one, you really don't have any, because if that one breaks, then you have nothing to draw anything. So I'm encouraging you. You have to have vision. Vision has a process. Here is the thing. It leads to being motivated because you have purpose. But like I said on Sunday, I think it was in person, the breath of God, the oxygen, and this is why I said, let's breathe. Let's depend on the source that gives us resources. Let's depend on God. And you're like, well, what does he have to do with earth? I'm going to share that with you real quick. It breeds growth and it helps you achieve goals. Remember the 4 things that I gave you: comfort zone, fear zone, learning zone, growth zone. And here's how I'm going to sum up Romans 12, 1 and 2 for you. It's real simple. The mind belongs to you. That's yours. That was a gift from God when you landed here on planet Earth. Whatever your birthday is, whatever that time is, that's a gift from God. That's your mind. You're responsible what you put in it. Right? Well, what about my spirit? That spirit belongs to God, because you couldn't exist without his spirit. So your spirit belongs to God. Go back to Genesis, I think 2, 6 and 7, where it says, and the Lord breathed into man the breath of knowledge. You have to understand, you got a mind, but you got a spirit. You control the mind. The mind is the filter. The spirit belongs to God. And if you're out of line with the purpose that God has given you, then you can't maximize using his spirit in a place that he can't reside in. And that is an unclean temple. So when you're chasing everybody else or trying to be what everybody else is, and you're trying to fit in, God said, why are you trying to fit in when you're already in? You're in the same atmosphere, the same world. You have the same opportunities they do. But the problem is you have allowed them to affect and infect your mind. Number 3, the body. The body belongs to the earth. It does not go back to heaven. I've done so many funerals, and I just got this revelation about 45 minutes ago before I had to go live, when we say ashes to ashes and dust to dust. And I said, well, Jesus help a brother. And it's like, no, the mind is yours. That's my gift to you. What you invest in it will produce your gifts and talents. What you don't do with it will cost you, because he has given you the opportunity. You're worried about the exterior and you're not building the interior. And the spirit that I gave you was clean and holy, and it should come back to me. So I say this in my closing. The mind belongs to you. The Bible, let this mind be in you. Romans 12, 1 and 2, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present you. Text somebody and say, you. Present your body. If other people have control of you, then you're not free in God. You present your body, a living. Why are you dragging? I need something to give. No. The breath. Let's breathe, people. The breath that God has given you. Isn't it a text? Great is he that is, is you. And what you allow your mind to focus on will control you. So now, here's what I'm going to say as I get ready to close, because I think I've ran over my time. Only you can shift your mind. Only you. So what am I saying? You can't blame another person. That's in you. Your mind. If you choose to think you can't, you won't. If you choose to believe you can, you'll find a way. And when you understand that you're a product of heaven, Now you can call in the defense team as well as an offense team. Mentality is more important than location. Many people think, well, if I'm here, if I'm there, if I was over there, if I was in the city, if I was at this. No. Your mentality transformation. Your mentality is more important than your location. And last but not least, you control the 4 zones in your life. I call this, and I'll give you this and I'm gone, the 4 horsemen. God has nothing to do with your attitude. That's yours, because it's in here, right? God has nothing to do with your behavior. Whatever your mind say, whatever your memory plays back, is how you will act out. God does not control your focus. That's your choice. God does not control your discipline. That's your choice. How it says in the context, 4 zones: comfort zone, fear zone, learning zone, growth zone. I say this to the believer and to the potential believer and to the brother or the sister that's sitting on the fence that don't know if they want to trust God. The reason you struggle with trusting God is because you hadn't had a good example in man. Trust God. He said, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. I'll be with you to the end of the world. Why is that possible? Because we are a product of his creation. Let us get our breath back. The energy that God gave us in eternity. Let us represent him while we're here on earth. And let us produce things that God has given us, because he didn't send any person here purposeless. He sent you here for a purpose. God bless you. Have a wonderful week, whatever you do, and we'll be back together on Sunday. See you soon. God bless you.